This is our split stance cable press. What we're gonna do is set up in a split stance. You're gonna go ahead and make sure that everything's squared forward at the hips. We're reaching with our elbow, driving the rotation from serratus, and then we're gonna go ahead and keep our shoulder blade forward as we pull it all the way back. All right, so the finer details on this one. This exercise is to make sure that we can drive rotation at the rib cage through our reach. We wanna see that our head doesn't turn and our rib cage does. There's a little bit of a sequencing at the shoulder, the scapula, and the rib cage. You should see that when I reach all the way, I'm driving the rotation at the end of the reach. So my chest doesn't turn first, I reach all the way and then my ribs turn. When we talk about the feet setup, it's really important to get it right. We don't want to be too far. We don't want to be in line. We want to be basically diagonal, big toe across from the heel, and big toes are nice and straight. Most people are going to roll out on the outside foot or turn out. So try to keep that first met in contact with the ground, the ball of the big toe, and everything facing forward so that you can push through your back foot to actually be over your left side as if you lifted it, just like when we do kickstand hinges and other things. Now, really, really important, when I actually do the reach, I come all the way out here. This is me driving it. So as I reach, once I get all the way out, that's when my chest turns versus and then turning, okay? On the way back, I almost want to think about pulling my arm back in before I turn my chest. So I'm going to keep my shoulder blade reaching forward, really strong. You should feel all kinds of this stuff. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend my elbow and slowly bring it back. The opposite of that looks like this. The first thing that happens is my elbow stays straight and I squeeze my shoulder blade back, lift my ribs, and then I come back. So I want to keep my shoulder blade sitting nice and flush on my rib cage. It doesn't need to move until I come to my side and then I can bring the other arm out. On the way, it just reverses. I reach again, have it all the way there. I slowly bring that back and then I turn. Just like the reach drives the rotation towards the front leg, the pulling back, then I can wind up and turn. This way, I should start to feel my obliques engage on all the pushing and pulling. Now, the other thing that we want to think about is try to think about as if you're holding it with someone smushing you down. So I don't want this into my body. I almost want to think there's an arrow from here to here, or if someone came to me and they grabbed my shoulders and they picked them up and out. So I'm literally trying to look as big as possible. We call this training up and even training out. So when I hold this, first and foremost, I don't want this to go behind me because then everybody does all this stuff. Just start with it at 90 degrees by your side and think that I'm smushing you down there. You have to fight me to try to stay up and out and get bigger, okay? So we're staying tall. The way that you're gonna be able to do that is by establishing a push through the foot. If you need to, take a few breaths to start. As you exhale, feel everything wrap in and get tighter in your core without your sternum dropping. As you inhale, imagine that inhale is taking you up and out and getting your ribs to expand in every direction so that when you go through it, you're not getting small again. That's how we're gonna do the split stance press. A lot of details there. Don't worry about being perfect at first. Just try to slowly pick them up and do form checks. And if you have any questions, please let me know.